like we always say, this is just a training, a part of what we do at African Food Chain Makers. So the membership up is a very large part. In fact, it's the biggest of what we do. So if you are a participant and you're not yet a member, this is an opportunity to become one. But this is where you get all of the benefits that African Food Chain Makers has to provide for you. So please, Nosa Obano, if you are on the call, I'll leave this to you.
Thank you, Patience. Please confirm that you can hear me, because
yes, I
actually couldn't hear you all this well. I don't know if it's just me.
Oh, wow. I can hear you actually. So sorry about that.
No,
I hope it's just you.
She was muted actually. Patience was
exactly.
muted.
I was muted. Wow.
Yeah, so I could not hear you from my end, but that's fine.
Sincere apologies, please.
Okay.
All right. Thank you. Please go ahead.
All right. Thank you so much, Patience, and a warm welcome to everyone on the call. And I would like to start as usual that if you know you're a member of the community already, please let me see you type "I am a change maker" in the group chat. So I want to see how many change makers we have in the call, so I can know who to address my concerns to. So if you're a change maker, let me see your hands in the chat. Yes, thank you, Mabong. Yes, I can see a lot of change makers in the comment section. Thank you, Simon. So to non-change makers on the call, why haven't you become a change maker yet? You are all missing out on a lot of opportunities the AFC community has to offer. So I would like to indulge you to join the community with the link that have been dropped in the group chats. And speaking to non-community members, the AFC Hub is open to entrepreneurs across Africa, and you are like the lifeblood of the food ecosystem, because we deal directly with entrepreneurs in the food ecosystem, and we help them by supporting the agribusinesses to scale. We know that these entrepreneurs go through a lot of challenges, and we try as much as possible to offer them opportunities and business support that will help the enterprises to scale up. So part of the opportunity we give to entrepreneurs are access to opportunities to scale their agribusinesses and also strengthen the agribusinesses. We also prepare agribusinesses to enter new markets, actually across the globe and also continental-wise, because we help them with trainings, we offer them with opportunities with trainings in-house and also with collaboration with other organizations. So we also have our programs that we do. This is just one of the programs which we offer at AFC. We also do programs on exporting, programs on climate change, programs on fellowship and gender equality. And these are all programs that we implement to help our entrepreneurs build their capacity and also to scale their businesses. Additionally, we also refer entrepreneurs to speaking engagement, to funding opportunities, and to exhibition opportunities. In the course of the year, we attended several exhibition opportunities where we exhibit our members' products. We also have the opportunity to allow our members come exhibit on their behalf and also network with industry experts and some other stakeholders in the agri-food space. We have a community across 43 African countries where like-minds can also interact and engage in conversations, engage in business deals, and also other opportunities that they can leverage within a community. We give them access to market linkages. We also enhance their speaking engagements. We refer entrepreneurs to speaking engagement, to panel sessions where they can contribute to dialogues and contribute to discussion, and also promote their businesses and engagement of our entrepreneurs via the social media. I've spoken to the opportunities we offer. Let me also speak directly to the members, non-members on the call, on how they can benefit from these opportunities and join the community. Next slide, please. So for non-members on this call, it's very easy to be a member of the community. All what you have to do is just to click on the link in the chat box and also answer the required questions necessary for us to verify your businesses. So if you can move to the next slide, please. Thank you. So the first step in becoming a member of the community is to visit the link www.afchub.org and navigate to the membership part, where you can see the icon to join the community. And once you've clicked on that icon, you become you see a landing page where you be asked questions about your business and your personal information. Personal information includes just your name, your email, your country, and some other details we require for us to verify your profile. Once you've done that, you'll be asked to submit your application. Please always submit the application where you are registering, because most potential members forget to click on submit and they assume that their registrations have been completed. That is a big no, because we still have, it will not reflect on the admin end. So we advise that potential members should always click on the submit button. And once you click on the submit button, you will receive an email that will give you temporary access to your dashboard. Temporary access in the sense that you are not a bona fide member yet, but you can see the activities in the community, but cannot benefit from them until your account is verified. So as a temporary member, you would have to update your profile, and we have to vet from our end. Updating your profile includes adding additional information about your businesses, about your company, and some other registration process we require. And we would verify we verify your account.
For you, the return, that's also me. You don't ever tell them say you go collect that 5%.
Can that person mute, please? Admin? Okay, thank you. So as a potential member, you ask to be verified within the next 48 hours upon when you signed up to become a member. And what we mean by verified is that we have already vetted your profile from our end to know that what you provided is accurate. And we also do our own research to know that, okay, this person is actually in the agri space, and the information provided by this person is worth it. Also, okay, I will attend to you after this. I can see your message. Then, once you become verified, you would have access to our membership groups, the WhatsApp, the Telegram, the LinkedIn, and the Facebook, where you can also get more content about the community. Then you also be added to our mailing list, where you can receive our update on our newsletters and other opportunities we give to our entrepreneurs. And for you to be a bona fide member of the community, there are just 3 criteria we require from you. The first is that you should work in the agribusiness space, either as the owner or as a top management in the business that can make decisions about the agribusiness you work for. Second is that the agribusiness that you are working for or you own must be in existence for at least 6 months before you signed up to be a member. Lastly is that you should have a digital presence. Digital presence in the sense that you either have a social media handle, a website, or it might be your personal link that speaks to what you do. So you might have a personal social media handle, but that personal social media handle should also include pictures of your agribusiness activities, because you understand that some businesses are just starting and might not have the visibility that we require from them. We understand that, and we want you to know that we are also working hard to also create that visibility for you. So we enjoy that, even if it's pictures of your social media activities that speaks to your agribusiness work, it is also required. Then we are asked to also add a CSC document or a means of certificate for your agribusiness. Thank you. And I would also like to speak to the membership dashboard features. So as a member, I want to know how many of us are utilizing this membership dashboard, marketplace, and also the referral program. So we have the marketplace where our entrepreneurs can upload their products and also create that visibility for themselves. So as a member, this marketplace is for you to upload your products, details of your product. If you're a spice producer or you are into packaging of snacks, fruits, different products that you do, you have the marketplace for you to showcase your products. So we've implemented this feature for our members who wants to drive customers to their page. What you have to do is just to include the product details, and the link. You can see the buy item here is for you to include the social media handle where potential buyers can get access to you or can contact you for details. This might be the link to your own personal page or the link to your direct contact like WhatsApp, where they can engage you in discussion about what they want to get from you, or they're interested in your product and they would like to purchase this from you. So this is the marketplace picture, and For the referral program, we also have a referral program on the membership dashboard where you can refer other entrepreneurs who will feel will benefit from this membership community as well. So we indulge everybody on this call, members and potential members, to be that you should always navigate to your membership dashboard, because a lot of opportunities are being shared on the membership dashboard. And the more you leverage those opportunities, the more you benefit from the community. I can see some chats in the comment section, and I'm available for further questions as well. Over to you, Patience, or do you want me to answer those questions now or later? Okay, let me go to the charts to see.
No, sir, please go ahead. Go ahead and answer the questions, please.
All right, I think I saw Mba says she registered and is yet to be verified. Can you unmute and speak to that so I can know specifically what dates you registered and when you registered? I invite, you can raise your hand also, the admin can unmute you. Or can we have Stephen? Stephen, is it a membership related questions that you have?
Good afternoon, sir.
Hi, Stephen. Good afternoon.
Thank you, sir. Thanks for the privilege, sir. And I'm confused about the membership. You know, I've
Okay.
registered it, but once I want to log in, they will be showing me some things of which I don't understand. Even now, I've tried it, and they're showing me the same thing, that credentials they match. So I'm just confused. So that's just the question I have.
Okay, so to get your question clear, when you try to log into your membership
Okay.
dashboard, it means maybe your email and your
They're the
password is
same.
not
One thing is
that the
that, see,
same.
I try using, if I use this app under age, it will access. If I use
Okay.
it will not access. If I use Opera Mini, it will not access. So I'm just confused.
Okay, that would be like a question, a technical
Okay.
question. So I might not be the one to provide the best feedback to your best answer. So I'll note that as a feedback and maybe engage with you offline to relate to the tech team for that, because I feel it's a technical issue.
Okay,
Since
sir.
you can answer, my observation was to ask you if, because most Grace participants, you make that mistake of using the email they registered with Grace to try and log into membership dashboard. Those are two different things. Some Grace participants will want to use the email that they use for their Grace login or their Grace dashboard to try and register for the membership dashboard. It might not work if the email you use are quite different.
It's the same.
Is the same. Okay, so please let's you can follow up. I will send the message to you offline for that.
Okay, sir.
Emmanuel, is it a similar question related to membership? Okay, I can see Victoria. Hi, Emmanuel, please unmute and speak. Let's have Victoria then.
Good afternoon.
Afternoon.
I'm also facing the same challenge as Steven. I'm unable to log in recently. When I want to log in, they tell me my credential does not match the record. So I don't know what's going on. And I'm
Okay,
actually verified.
okay, so I would drop the membership email and the membership WhatsApp line that we can engage further. It might be a technical issue, but I would like to have a screenshot of the error you're facing so I can best address that difficulty. Thank you so much, Victoria. Emmanuel, can you unmute and speak? Do you have any other questions in the chat box? Let me go through the chats. Emmanuel, if you can unmute and speak, please let us know.
All right, thank you so much, Musa. So maybe we can go back to all of these questions later after the session with the speaker, so we don't keep them waiting for too long. So thank you everyone that asked questions, and thank you so much, Musa. So please, we'll come back to your questions after the speaker's session. We'll quickly want to unveil our top scholars for week 1. So like I explained earlier, that for every week we have people that came top of the module, and the criteria is that you're able to complete your module with a very high score, and then you also attend the live interactive session for the longest time. So that's actually what qualifies you to become a top scholar, and it's just the first 10 persons we take to become our top scholars for this week. So after having the week 1 top scholars for this week, we're going to announce the top week 2 top scholars next week during our live interactive session. So I'll quickly want to mention the people. I'm sure I hope they are in this session actually. So for our top scholars for week 1, we have Daniel Asia Kwangande from Nigeria. We have Benga Olukosi from Nigeria as well. We have Eniola Kogbe, Nigeria. We have Ambassador God's Power Ipalibo Madoye. I just hope I'm not bothering your name, but if I'm doing that, I'm very sorry. My sincere apologies, please. So this is from Nigeria as well. We have Sarah Oban from Nigeria. We also have Emmanuel Simon Young from Nigeria. We have Bridget Nkondo, South Africa. We have Francis John Sise from Sierra Leone. We have Agyampuye Rosebiwan, Nigeria. We have so many Nigerians. Victory Nkechinyere Mejuru from Nigeria. Adekunle Ajisafe Isaac from Nigeria. We have Jackson Philip from Zambia. Abel Baloy from South Africa, then Abdulganiu Balogun Adeza from Nigeria. So these are our top scholars for week 1. We hope to have the top scholars for week 2 next week, and I'm sure somebody is actually celebrating these people in the comment section, and because when it's your time, we have to celebrate you just as well. So congratulations to the top scholars for the week, for week 1. So we hope to have you engage us on your social media platforms, also share as we have posted, and all of the other things that will come with it later. So thank you so much, and congratulations everyone. Quickly, we want to go to the theme for the week, which is adaptation and mitigation strategies in production. And then, so this basically just exposes participants to in-depth adaptation and mitigation strategies across primary production. And I'm sure for those of you that have gone through the portal, you must have seen this in all of the courses that you took from the portal. So quickly, I quickly want to introduce our first speaker for today. His name is Ernest Habanabakize. For those that have gone through the module 2, I'm sure you are familiar with this face. So he's the co-founder for Agri Research Rwanda. He's an international development enthusiast who believes in developing a new culture to leverage strengths and values that inspire transformational change and provide opportunities that people center. He has special interest to address problems associated with climate change, women's economic empowerment, food security, agriculture and natural resource management through technological and social innovations. He has designed and coordinated a lot of initiatives related to capacity building, training programs development, and research action promotion in areas of climate change, adaptation planning, food security, and women economic empowerment across Africa and North America. He also has extensive experience in project management, research, and policy analysis. He's the co-founder at Agri Research Rwanda, a youth-led organization promoting digital and market-oriented agriculture in Rwanda. He's currently working as an independent consultant to develop nature-based solutions and data-driven decision-making frameworks in agriculture. Having said this, I want to quickly welcome Ernest to the virtual podium. So Ernest, if you're on the call, I'm leaving this to you, sir. Ernest, are you there? Oh. Ernest, if you're on the call, I cannot hear you.
Yeah, so I was chatting, I wasn't able to unmute, but now it's all good.
Oh.
Yeah. So now it's all
Oh,
fine.
okay, all right.
I
So
think
I'm
they're
leaving this to you. Thank you.
no worries. No, thank you very much, Patience. And thank you very much, Nosa, for the first presentation about the membership and how people can access this platform for the best use. It's always a pleasure to be part of this community. It's been almost 1 year or more since we started this interaction, and it can only get better. So for some of you who are new to the program, I guess Patience have done good justice to the introduction. So I have more than a decade of experience in the international development sector. I've worked mostly in the climate change adaptation and mitigation sector in agriculture across Africa, in Ghana, in Rwanda, in Kenya, in Haiti, in Canada, and America. And I'm part of the people who have prepared some of your modules, the one you do have access to. And this is always a good time to come back and have a conversation on what you found interesting, what's your feedback, what's your challenges, and have your questions answered. But always, before I go into your questions, I always prefer to refresh, share one or two slides. It's not time to do a presentation, as you know. It's a live session where I do respond to your questions. But for background, since we're talking about mitigation and adaptation in crop production sector in agribusiness, let's refresh our mind in what it is, mitigation and adaptation. And give me a second. I should be able to share my screen. Very good. Yep. Yeah, I hope you guys can see my screen. I know pretty much.
Yes, I can see your screen.
Yeah, most of you have already come across this slide somewhere in your leadings. When we say mitigation and adaptation, I think those are the most prominent ways that are known out there to fight against climate change. It can be either way, it can be both, but most of the cases it has to be both, because when you talk about mitigation of the climate change, so we're talking about really attacking the problem. What it is we're attacking. Is it fighting the temperatures? Is we fighting the source of those temperatures, the source of floodings, the source of the coming of the new insects in our farms, those type of things, right? So you're really attacking the source of the problem. Whereas when you talk adaptation of you're dealing with the effects of the problem. So which means the problem is already on your door. The problem is already your way, you're trying to fight. And the reason why I say it has to be both, you can't say, oh, it's good to fight the cause, you know, the root cause of the problem. But the thing is, in the real life, you know, even if you have not contributed to the effects or to the consequences of the climate change, you're going to find yourself to be a victim sometimes of some people who are doing, you know, some stuff. You know, some people who are doing some productions in big industrial countries, you know, and emitting big quantities of CO2 emissions, and then those actually affecting your areas, your local communities, and you guys not having access to the rains that you want for your crops. Or maybe some guys you know, doing you know, putting some stuff in the oceans, and then the oceans bring trouble, and then you having increased temperatures you know, once and every now. And then you're having prolonged droughts, and then you're having trouble to know when to do your seedings, to plant your seeds. You know, it can come from anywhere. So that's why you still have to fight, even if you're not the source of the problem. So you have to put in place both means or both scenarios or both strategies to be able to effectively fight against the problems or the challenges you might encounter when doing your business in climate change. So lastly, you know, when you talk about mitigation and adaptation, really, like I just explained, objectives wise, you know, in terms of mitigation, you are talking about the causes of the problem, whereas in terms of mitigation, adaptation, you are really dealing with the effects, the cause. I mean, the consequences, you know, the sufferings in your actual farm, in your actual business, in your actual local areas or context. And in terms of location, most of the time, mitigation is global. Like, you know, when you talk about how do we mitigate the CO2, how do we do sequestration of carbon? Is it through tree plantations? Is it through adopting some climate-smart agriculture practices, such as regenerative agriculture or other forms of climate-smart agriculture? That's global in nature. Whereas adaptation, the reason why we say it's local, it depends on the specific problems you're having. For some, it's floodings. For some, it's heat. For others, it's wind. For others, it's insect, grasshoppers, or other type of insects. So it really has to be local. It doesn't have to be copy and paste. It has to be adapted to the context where it is. So in terms of timelines or time scales, mitigation is wrong time in scale because you are, you know, creating the sinks of carbons. You are trying to ensure that the CO2 actually is buried in the soil. You know, you're creating the sink of carbon, which then actually reduce the emissions of CO2 and other greenhouse gas emissions. So whereas for the adaptation, it can be short term. If you have an epidemic of some new insects that attacking your crops, you might actually deal with those insects right away, and then the problem is over, right? So it's short-term in nature, and mitigation is long-term in nature. And then, you know, sector-wise, it can be different sectors as well. So, you know, like I just said at the beginning, I don't want to present today. That's not the intention of the live session. I want you guys to start going to your questions. I bring up those few slides, kind of refresh, you know, and as I speak, I believe some of you are, you know, thinking or writing down some of your questions or your thoughts or your feedback, so that we can start a conversation on a good note. So I'm here for you. What have you read? What was the challenges? Do you have some questions for me? Is there any thoughts you want to share with me? Here I am for you guys.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Ernest. Thank you so much. So maybe we should just allow the other speakers go, and after which we take all of the questions so that we don't take too much time. So thank you so much. I really want to call the next speaker. There's a moment to share my screen. Okay. All right, thank you so much, Ernest, and that was really insightful. So quickly, the next speaker is Femi Adekoya. I'm sure if you are an agri person in Nigeria, you know Femi Adekoya. He's actually the founder for Integrated Area Precision. He's popularly known as the Flying Farmer. He's a visionary leader who has made remarkable contributions to the agricultural sector through his innovative agri-tech company, Integrated Area Precision. As the founder and managing director, Femi leverages drone technology and data analytics to advance sustainable farming practices and improve crop yields and profitability for farmers. His exceptional work has benefited over 2,500 farmers, delivering climate-smart agriculture while contributing to food security. Femi's unwavering dedication and success have been widely recognized with numerous prestigious awards and accolades. He is the proud recipient of the APNI Precision Agriculture Young Scientist Award, the Orange Corner Innovation Fund winner, and the Royal African Award, to name a few. Femi is an international thought leader and speaker on innovation and youth inclusion, whose voice has been heard on platforms such as the World Food Forum and Committee of World Food Security, ICT for AG and African Food Summit, Dakar, amongst others. He is the co-author of the best-selling book, Drone Professional 3 on Amazon. Femi is a first-class graduate of agriculture from the Federal University of Agriculture, Abeokuta, Nigeria, and holds a master's degree in integrated pest management from Adams University, UK, which he obtained through the prestigious Commonwealth Scholarship. Femi's ambition is to advance the adoption of digital and precision agriculture in Nigeria and across Africa through youth capacity building and access to drone and data technology. With these few points of mine, I welcome Femi Adekoya, the Flying Farmer, to the virtual podium. So you want to put your hands together in the comment section to welcome Femi as I yield the mic, the virtual mic to him. So Femi, if you're on the call.
Yes, I'm on the call.
Thank you. So you're welcome.
Thank you so
I'll
much.
just leave this to you. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much for the opportunity to actually share with fellow change makers on this platform. And I really want to commend the great work that the African food change makers is making, particularly on with this initiative, the BRACE initiative. It's really a privilege to actually share my voice and my experience thus far in the field and regarding the topic on adaptation and mitigation strategy. And I know that the program, through the trainings and all that, have actually done very good justice to the concept of adaptation and mitigation strategies in production or every other value chain, so that entrepreneurs and professionals in the agricultural industry can be able to have a profitable production or a sustainable one also in the agricultural sector. But I'm going to be sharing from practical experience and from my learnings over 12 years involved practically in the agribusiness landscape in Nigeria particularly. And I want this to be interactive as much as possible, and I hope that we can be able to have a good time today. So pardon me if what I'll be saying today could be some repetitions or closely relates to whatever you've actually been taught or you've experienced. So I'm very sure that this is going to be perhaps a reminder or perhaps a nudge, perhaps a change of perspective to you particularly as regards how we can deal in the era of climate change. And as we know, when we talk about climate adaptation or mitigation, the strategies, the goal can, it's all around these three things. We want to actually improve productivity in the face of climate change or climate variabilities. We also want to ensure that we improve our resilience as farmers or agricultural professionals. We also want to ensure that we are not contributing to the degradation of the ozone layer. In other words, we are trying to reduce or stop the emission of greenhouse gases, right? So, and what are the strategies that we can use to mitigate? Practically, for me, I think the first place we need to actually start from is the seed. In production, we need seeds, right? So, and forgive me if many of my examples actually still towards crop or crop production. I am more of the crop guy. I have experience with animals, but I do more of the crop. So, so the seed, and of course, when I say seed, it could be general, it could be the varieties or the breeds that you're actually using as a farmer, right? So the seed is very, very important. So in actually adapting, and for me, I believe that as Africans, or directly as farmers, we need more of the adaptation, because the climate change is here already. There's no doubt about that. So how can we adapt to this issue? So, and I think one of the adaptation strategy first is seed. I actually have seed written down here. I'm not going to be making presentation, as I would like us to actually interact and actually share my knowledge from the heart. Right. So, and today I'm not actually here to talk about all about drone technology and all that. I believe that is going to actually feature in my talk, or you could actually ask questions around that more particularly. But of course, we don't have one technology to actually solve the problem in the agriculture sector. So it has to be unique. So if you want to actually adapt, and also want to mitigate the challenge of change, we have to bring all these solutions together to be able to solve problems, right? So, and let's not forget the objective. The objective one is to increase our productivity. Productivity is very, very key. You want to increase your yield. And number two, you want to ensure that you are being resilient. You are able to actually do farming this year, and you are able to do it next year, right? Be it in terms of the environment or in terms of economics, particularly. So you want to actually have costs to be able to stay. So I mentioned seed. So getting climate resistant, or when I say climate resistant or tolerant varieties, would be to the impact of pests and diseases. As you may know, I actually had a bit of deep study on high PM. I know that we don't talk much about this, but, and also with what I do with drone technology, using drones to actually help farmers to apply crop protection products on their field to be able to ward off pest diseases, weeds and all that, right? One of the critical factor that is actually causing this challenge of pest and disease is climate change, because there is actually increase in temperature of global surface temperature. We now have insect pests now multiplying rapidly on the field, in our farms and all that. So I think the first thing to actually do, as I said, to reiterate, is seed. Get the right seed. Number one strategy. Before we actually start planting, before we actually growing crops, seeds are very, very important to achieve the best productivity. And you want to ensure that if there is drought, if there is maybe flooding, in the case people who are actually into rice cultivation and all that, or crops generally, you want to ensure that you are giving yourself a safety net and an insurance in your seed. Well, and I know that we are entrepreneurs, many of us are entrepreneurs, so please don't first go for the idea of cheap seeds. Please go with the idea of the benefit cost ratio. That is the way we need to actually begin to think. And I know that these varieties could be a little bit expensive or relatively expensive compared to just conventional, but the value is actually there. So it's very important for us to actually note that. So there's not to emphasize too much on seeds. So we still have another strategy that I actually see to actually adapt to climate change would be regenerative agriculture. Regenerative agriculture, or what we regenerative agriculture actually deals with adaptation and also mitigation. So how can we actually keep soil carbon? How can we actually keep carbon into the soil and ensure that we are actually not no tillage, minimal tillage? It's actually very important so that we can be able to manage our soils and ensure that we have the best use. Another strategy which I am very passionate about is leveraging on digital technologies. Now, leveraging on digital technologies, and I'm saying generally, from the use of your smartphones to actually acquire the right information per time, because information is very, very key, right? So I believe that information is actually one of the critical factors of production. We've actually heard of land, labor, capital, and the entrepreneur. So for you as an entrepreneur to be able to maximize your resources, which includes land, your capital, and the labor, right? You actually need the best information. You need information to actually be able to manage them. So I believe that with our smartphones, we can be able to acquire information that can actually help us. Information around weather pattern, when is it going to rain, before you actually take some decisions on the farm, application of your fertilizers, or when to plant, these details. And I think that it's all there on our phone. There are some applications that at least gives you paid and those that are free, by the way. So they're proprietary softwares that are that you can download, all right, that you can get information. These are actually things that we use ourselves, even serving farmers, because when we actually go to the field to actually fly drones to actually map the field, or to actually spread fertilizers or plant seeds with drones, or spray, doing precision spraying with drones, right? We cannot actually do this when it is raining. So we would need to actually understand, is it a go or not a go decision? So, and I think it's also the same for every farmers too. So should we plant today, or when should we plant? Should we plant early, or we actually have to hold back, informations like that, right? And we also know that the time that you also plant would also matter when it comes to your pest management. If you plant early, does it guarantee that you are going to have less incidents of disease or pest outbreak? Or if you plant late, for example, fall armyworm, if you plant late, oftentimes you should be ready to actually tackle fall armyworm, right? So these are actually strategies to actually adapt to the vagaries of climate change. It goes on and on. And one thing I also want to mention that I've actually used very well. I need to say this, we as entrepreneurs or agricultural professionals in this 21st century and in this climate era, we need to actually be open to innovation. It's very important to innovation that also to scale, that proves our in in the production, right? So agriculture is not easy. I mean, it's not easy. I would say it's not easy. but we need to actually be smart, or let's put it in context of being climate smart. So innovation is very, very key. And one of the innovations that I want to mention is water harvesting or efficient irrigation, right? So we know that some places are actually deficient. I have actually worked in a place where they have worked, I've farmed also, worked and farmed in a location where their water table is so deep that even if you are going to dig holes, it's going to be a risk, a 50-50 chance. And even on top of that, you might actually have to spend quite a high amount of money, right? So you can actually leverage on water harvesting or rain harvesting, right? It's also been climate smart when you actually, when there is actually excess of rain, you are able to harvest this rain. It's actually another strategy to be able to, because at the end of the day, you need to actually meet your crop water requirements to ensure that you are seeding your productivity at the best level. Our crops needs water, or perhaps our animals also need water too. So irrigation, this actually then takes me to irrigation. So you need to actually adopt efficient irrigation, and I think there is no need for us to actually rush. You might have actually heard of this about take it slow. I wouldn't say start small. I hate using the word start small, but whatever small may be to you, you need to actually start from there. But you need to take it slow. Because why I said that was that some people say, irrigation is actually expensive. Yeah, truly, irrigation is expensive because agriculture is expensive, right? So agriculture can be expensive. So, but you need to actually take it at your capacity. Efficiency is actually greater than just the numbers. Ensuring that if you can actually do one hectare efficiently, you're able to put structures in place, irrigation, the right seed in place. That is just that you are sure that I can manage this with a fund and with the best technology or innovation possible. Why not actually do that? I encourage skill, right? So, but I encourage you to actually take it slowly or take it patiently, right? So based on your capacity. So I will actually stop here because there are a lot of things to actually say, and my time is actually fast spent. I want to actually have questions from you. There are a lot of strategies, early warning systems, something I mentioned about weather report or climate services that you can acquire from your phone, right? So it's actually something that you need to actually look to. And I also want to mention this. You might need to actually begin to do crop diversification, or you need to diversify. You don't need to actually invest in just only one seed or one kind of seed or one kind of crop, right? Crop rotation is very, very important also to actually break disease chain or pest chain, and also just to actually share your risks across crops. So I think these are actually some of the few things I want to actually mention from my experience. And if you have questions for me based on your knowledge of what I do or what I actually shared today, I'll be happy to actually respond to you. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you so much. Thank you, Femi. This is really, really great. Thank you. I'm sure so many people have questions for you. But please, let's just quickly go to the last speaker, and we'll now do the question and answer segments together for all speakers, so we don't delay so much. So for our next speaker, we have Afees Adeoye. Is actually a dairy value chain development expert and holds a master's degree in innovative dairy chain management from Van Al Larenstein University of Applied Science, Netherlands. He holds a bachelor degree in animal physiology from the Federal University of Agriculture, Abeokuta, and a diploma in animal health and production technology from the Federal College of Animal Health and Production Technology, Moore Plantation, Ibadan. He is a Project Management Institute certified project management professional, and he has over the last 5 years been implementing food security and livelihood development projects across the rice and dairy value chain. He is a Systemas de BEM ESTA certified animal welfare officer. Adekunle is currently a consultant is a consultant with Sahel Consulting, where he provides support on program implementation, strategy development, policy advocacy, stakeholder engagement, and data management. He currently works as a livestock development expert on the Advanced Local Dairy Development in Nigeria program, where he leads the implementation of artificial insemination, infrastructural development, and policy advocacy. He has worked with Royal Aware and the Agricultural Ecosystem Service Trading Initiative on climate smart dairy initiative development in the Netherlands. Before joining Sahel, he worked with GIZ on the Competitive African Rice Initiative Program to provide business advisory support for rice value chain development in Nigeria. So I want to welcome Afees Adeoye to the virtual stage. For those of us that have gone through the module, I'm sure he's not strange to us. We are familiar with him. And so Afees, if you are on the call, I'll just leave this virtual stage to you.
Thank you very much, Patience. Thank you so much, and it's my pleasure to be here. Thank you very much. Okay. Yeah. So I can go ahead and share my screen.
Yes, please go ahead.
Okay, all right, just a moment. Okay, all right. Please confirm if you can see my screen.
Yes, I can see your screen.
All right, thank you. Thank you. All right, so hello everyone. My name is Afees and I work with Sahel Consulting. It's my absolute pleasure to be here once again on this platform to share knowledge, and we are all going to be working together so that we can share our experience all together. So I'll be speaking on the adaptation and mitigation in livestock production. So this is we have tried to compress this as much as possible so that we can save time and communicate impact as much as we can. So I will be going through the concept of sustainability, the impact of conventional livestock production on sustainability. We'll talk about the impact of climate change and nitrogen deposition. I will talk about some resilience practices in husbandry production. So I'm very sure that we've all gone through this particular module in our portal, and sustainability has different, has a lot of definition, but in my own case, the definition I've chosen to adopt is actually sustainability would can be defined as any practices, you know, that does not harm does not harm the people, the planet, and the profit. For example, if you are into livestock production, say poultry or ruminant production, and what you are currently doing is affecting the quality of life that people around you are currently living, then it is not sustainable. So whatever you are doing, you make sure that it does not affect the health of the people, does not affect their welfare. It could be through smell, could be through deposition of bad chemical. So it must not contribute negatively to the quality of life of people around you. And the second key element is that it must contribute to the planet's health. So, for example, whatever you are doing, whatever enterprise you are into, it must contribute to the health of the soil, the biodiversity, the life on land and life below land. So if whatever you are doing is affecting the soil, is causing the degradation of the soil, is causing the death of biodiversity in the soil, or it affects the organisms in the water above the land, then it means whatever you are doing is not sustainable and you should actually amend it. And also, all the stakeholders that are within that value chain, they must be able to make profit. So if a particular stakeholder is not making profit, then what you are doing is not sustainable. So if you are into an agricultural enterprise and you are not making profit, and probably the people that are working with you too are not making profit, then it is not sustainable. We cannot categorize it as being sustainable. So for it to be sustainable, you must be able to meet with all these three key elements. So now we are going to be checking the impact of livestock on climate change. So we are going to be talking about this from 3 scopes. So we have the scope 1, scope 2, and scope 3. So for scope 1, scope 1 basically means that greenhouse gas emissions that occur directly from your business. So now these are emissions that you cannot that you can control, that are within your power to control. So these are the direct emissions that you generate from your activity. So example of this are, if you are a farmer, say you are a ruminant farmer or a pig farmer. So these are the emissions, the emissions that come out from your livestock, for example, could be the emission that comes from the gastrointestinal tract from your pig or ruminant. These are the methane emissions. So these are the these are the scope 1 emissions that you can actually control. And also example is nitrous oxide methane emission from cattle slurry. So cattle slurry is the mixture of manure and urine. So the emission that comes out of this is classified as scope 1. And also the emission that comes from your operational vehicle, say you want to transport your animals from farm to market or from farm to abattoir, or you are moving around in the course of operating your business, then the emission that comes out of that vehicle, the generator, these are also classified as scope 1. And you can absolutely control all these emissions because they are within your control, they are within your power. You are actually the one that is incurring all these emissions directly. So now the scope 2 emissions are those emissions that occur indirectly from your business activity. So, and these ones you have little control over, but yes, you can still control them. So a critical example of this is the emission that is generated in the process of generating energy. So the energy that you use in probably your electricity, your cooling energy. So the emission that is generated by the companies that actually provide this energy for you, these are scope 2 emissions. So you have very little over them because you can't stop this emission, but you can stop patronizing these energy companies and look for a way whereby you can generate your own energy sustainably. Or you can patronize other generating companies that actually generate their own energy sustainably. So that is why this has been classified as a scope 2 emission. So now the scope 3 emissions are the greenhouse gas emissions that occurs along the value chain of your product. So now these are emissions from trucks that transport your products to the retailer. So now when you have taken your cattle to the market, it has been butchered. So now they have packaged them and they want to start delivering them to the retailers, to the consumer. So the greenhouse gas that is generated from this activity are classified as your scope 3 emission. And now emissions from the disposal of your product. So now if somebody buys a cattle and they couldn't finish it, probably, or the byproducts like the horn, the food. So if they dispose them and they rot and decay, so the emission that comes out of them is scope 3. So which means you have no power, you have no control over this kind of emission. We also have those ones that the input that is required to transform your product into finished goods. So the emissions that comes out of these things are the scope 3, which means you can't control them because you are not the one that is directly, producing these emissions. So you have very little control. You have absolutely no control over them. But in some advanced countries, they have been trying to make a lot of efforts to control the scope 3 emissions as well. But for the sake of this activity, we'll try to look at how we can control the scope 1 and scope 2 emission. So this is by us embracing sustainability, sustainable mode of production and transportation as much as possible. So we'll look at some impact of climate change and nitrogen deposition on the livestock. So now we have understand that, okay, livestock contributes to climate change through scope 1, scope 3, and scope 1, 2, and 3 emissions. So now I want to take a look at how climate change and nitrogen deposition affect livestock. So climate change is characterized by increasing atmospheric temperature. And when the atmospheric temperature is actually high, so it leads to increased heat stress. So, and when livestock are under heat stress, they are known to produce less. They produce less milk, less egg, less meat. Everything will be reduced. And in fact, the incidence of disease will now be very much. You tend to spend more on trying to stabilize the animal by giving them probably antioxidants, vitamins, just for them to cope with the heat stress. So this is the one of the critical side effects of climate change on our livestock activity. And also we have climate change is also characterized with an uncertain rain pattern and climate events such as prolonged droughts, heavy rainfall, heat wave. So when all these activity happens, they tend to destabilize our livestock activity. It could be, some could even experience damages to the shelter of the livestock. The animals will not have the opportunity to go out and graze, as they normally do. And if it is for poultry, it is even more disastrous to poultry. And if you have fish farming, if they are more, they will drops into so this occurs as due to improper management of waste. So if you have your farm and you are not depositing your waste properly, say for example, you have a farm, instead of you to look for probably another person that can make use of sustainable use of your waste, but if you tend to dispose them improperly, that is when the nitrogen or the nitrous oxide in those waste will start seeping away into other bodies. That particular land that you have deposited the waste, it will start getting more and more toxic. And when that place is toxic, all the biodiversity in that particular area, they tend to die. And nothing would grow in that place for a very long time. So these are the adverse effects. And when these things actually find their way into water bodies, and it will start causing the death of the actual inhabitants of that particular water body, which is not sustainable at all. So, and we are now trying to look at, okay, how can we manage all this activity? How can we limit the contribution of livestock to climate change? So the number one that I will mention is efficient breeding management. So how does efficient management efficient breeding management actually translates to change? So I will use an example of cattle, and this same thing applies to other ruminant animals as well. So if as a cattle farmer, you have the aim of every farmer is to produce more and make more money, because it is rational. The more you produce, the more money you are able to make. So now, instead of you to actually get more and more livestock because you want to produce more, say for example, you have 10 cows that gives you milk. So you have 10 local cows that gives you, say, around 5 liters of milk per day, and you want to produce more. The rational thing to do is to buy more cow so that you can produce more milk so that you can sell. But in that regard, you can actually say, okay, why can't I just get a semen of improved breed of this cow so that I can use it to cross my own old cow? Then they will give birth to superior crossbreeds that can give me 10 to 20 liters of milk per day. So with that, you have reduced the total number of cow that you are supposed to have in your herd, and you have increased the total number of milk that you are supposed to produce. So the same thing actually goes for the small ruminants as well. And of course, for the poultry breeder as well, you can look for, okay, instead of me to have a lot of poultry in my farm, that will give me probably so that it can translate to more meat, more poultry meat at the end of the season. You can look for superior breeds of poultry that can give you more meat, so that you will not have more poultry in your farm that will defecate, and then there will be greenhouse gas from their defecation. So this is one way to manage your breeding. And also integrated mode of farming. So the integrated mode of farming is actually one of the best bets, to reduce the impact on the climate. So now, number one is all the waste that we generate in our farm. So if you have a livestock farm, if you generate waste, the best thing to do is to look for a way to translate that waste into biogas. So now, if you generate biogas from that, you can decide to sell your biogas and you can decide to use it internally by yourself and your family. So now, if you do that, you are you have eradicated your greenhouse gas emission from that particular waste. And at the end of the day, you can even get substrate from that biogas facility that you can sell to crop farmers that you can use as a manure for whatever they have planted. So, and in fact, you can even partner with probably 2, 3, 4, 5 farmers within your area. So both of the 5 of you can come together, gather resources and funds to build the biomass facility. So you now use the waste from all the 5 farms to feed that biomass, and the 5 of you can now make use of whatever gas or proceed that comes out of that. And this is a perfect business opportunity for you guys. And also, waste from poultry, ruminant, and pig, they are excellent source of electricity, so through the biogas and all. And also, waste from fish farm is very good. Some of my own family area here in Nigeria, that whenever they want to have it, they just open the water, the water will be around smelling, everywhere will be wet, and it is not hygiene. It is not good at all. So instead of doing that, they can actually partner with a crop farm around. They will just open the water to a crop farm. So the crop farm will benefit from that water because it will serve as source of fertilizer, manure from the fish, and source of water for irrigation. So this is actually a perfect way to handle this kind of waste. So if you can adapt this method and even look for more innovative method of doing this, then we can be rest assured that, okay, yes, we are not contributing to climate change. At least we are even trying to make everything better. Yeah, so these are part of the ways we can use to strengthen our sustainability efforts in livestock production. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you so much. Thank you, Afees. So we'll quickly go to the Q&A session so that we'll get all of your questions answered. So if you have a question that you want to ask any of the speakers, please raise your hand and we'll ask you to unmute and ask your question. Also note that when you're asking the question, you should direct it to this particular speaker that you want to answer the question. So please, if you have a question, let us see your hand. Oh, wow. I have like 1, 2, 3, 4 hands raised. So I'll quickly want to establish that these are all the answers that will be raised for today, so that we don't have more answers coming up when we start answering the questions. You can also write it in the comment section, and then I will check and read the question out for the particular person you want to ask, so that the person will answer your question. So I have Surundu Emmanuel, and I have Engineer Kingsley Okon Itan, I have Fama Olumoye, I have Bridget Nkondo, and I have Alabi Wali Ulai, then I have Dan Kwagasin, I have Owani Ivan. So let's establish that these are all the answers that will ask questions today. Please, if you raise your hand after now, I will drop it. You may not be able to ask your question. So, but if you have questions that you would like to ask and you don't have the opportunity to raise your hand, please type in the comment section. Even after now, we'll try to reach out to these facilitators for those that are unable to answer your question, and to see whether we can get the answers and send it back to you, or via email or in the WhatsApp group. So I now have 2 answers that have been added: Salako Kayode and Rebecca Kia. Okay, thank you so much. So that'll be all the answers for today. So quickly, we'll start with the first person, Surundu Emmanuel. Please unmute and ask your question. Emmanuel, if you are speaking, we can't hear you. I cannot hear you at all.
Yes, good evening.
Okay, yes, yes, please go ahead.
Emmanuel. Thank you for this live session. But I have some challenge when I'm trying to download the models. They are failing to download.
Oh, okay, Manuel. Okay, this will be addressed after now. We want only questions for our speakers. So after our speaker session, we'll have a question to address challenges with portal use, so we don't waste our speakers' time. So please, hang on and we'll answer. Oh, yes, we'll answer this question after now. Thank you. So please, Engineer Kingsley, if it's for the facilitators, please go ahead and unmute and ask. Engineer Kingsley, I've asked you to unmute and ask. Are you there? Okay, so please, let's quickly go to the next person. Farmer Olumoye, please go ahead.
All right, thank you so much. My question is in two ways, so I don't know which of the speakers I will answer it. The first one is on carbon credit. Yeah, I think maybe the second speaker spoke about climate change or something like that, and I feel it's related to carbon credit, but like I don't really know what it's obtainable, especially here in the in African part. We don't really have more knowledge about it, and I've been trying to to know more about what is obtainable as per carbon credit. So I don't know if justice can be done to that. And in one of the what is it called section for this week, if I'm not mistaken, it talks about tillage. Like it's telling us as if maybe it's not advisable, like it's not important to till your soil. And I understand that if you don't till your soil, to be hard for the what is it called for the soil, like soil breakage, for what is it called now, the young seedling to tap nutrients if they are not all these what is it called, tree tapping root, if they don't have a tap like species of that has tap root. Is it tap root now, if I don't use the word correctly? But in one word, it's just that it won't allow them to have easy access to nutrients if you don't till your soil. So but now seeing that in that what is it called, in that slide, telling us that it's not good to till the soil. So it gives me concern. So I don't know if justice can be done to that. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you so much, Farmer Olumoye. So for the carbon credit, we have module 5 that talks a whole lot about the carbon market, carbon financing, and all of that. So week 5, we're going to deal so much on carbon market. But then if there's any speaker that wants to talk about it, it's really fine. And then also the question on tillage, I think Ernest should just go ahead and answer the question. Ernest, are you on the call?
Yeah, so do you want me to talk about the carbon credits or the tillage?
Whichever, but the tillage will be fine since it's on this week module. So
yeah,
you go ahead with the tillage, then you
Yeah.
can talk about the carbon market later. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So I won't spend much time on the carbon credits, since you already said that there's one of the speakers that's going to deal with the topic. But one thing I would say is, it's a process that is still in the infancy stage, mostly on our continent. So a lot of organizations are trying to bring up protocols on how do we measure the carbon sequestrated, and how do we differentiate the carbon sequestrated by the forest, by the plants, by the crops. There's whole discussion going on. And then, so who control the measurements? Is it private sector? Do we have regulations? So there's a whole lot of things that have to be unfolded before the people really start to benefit from the carbon credits. But one thing I know, I can get in touch with you. There's some organization that I know that are already working with farmers who are applying smart agriculture practices so that they can help them to actually gain some money based on the practices. Because basically what it is if you're doing some climate-smart agriculture practices on your farm, based on the protocols that are already established, so they're going to measure how much carbon you're sequestrating in the soil, right? So, and then based on that, you can actually get some money based on that. But who measure process, who do it? It's a very complicated process. And it's very new in Africa, even in many other countries, because it's not yet very established. But I can give you some organizations that I know who are doing that already. So maybe that can be a good start before you go to the module in the next session you're going to have. Okay, so for the tillage now, somebody asked about minimum tillage, being not good since the crops would not access the nutrients. That's a myth. That's not correct. That's not true, right? So because what tillage is, you are trying to disturb the soil structure. So disturbing the soil structure can only do worse. And if you have a background in how the plant access nutrients absorption, you know that it doesn't have to be very deep down. It actually has to do with the type of nutrients and how the soil structure is and the type of crops. It's much less about how deep the crop or the seed is, and it's more of the type of crops, it's more of the soil structure, and it's more of the practices that you have on your ground. So one thing we know already, scientifically speaking, so the more your soil is stable, the less your soil structure is disturbed, the more your crop is going to actually access the nutrients that you actually put in. And what that means is, let's say if you put organic manure on your soil, and then you do with the who, let's say we talk about smallholder farmers, with the who, you do maybe 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You are tearing, right? So it's actually unlikely that your crop is going to access the nutrients very easily, and the susceptibility to runoff increases by the soil disturbance. What I mean by that is your nutrients actually being carried by water, rainwater, by irrigation to the down parts of the catchment. So to the contrary of what you're saying, the more you till, the less chance your seeds are going to have to access the nutrients. The less your soil is disturbed, the more your plants or your seeds are going to have the access to the nutrients. So that's basically, in simple terms, what that is. And the reason why, because I don't want to go into the microstructure and microorganism that actually help the texture of the soil to be compact, but there's a whole lot of chemical process involved in that. But in simple terms, the less disturbed your soil is, the more your nutrients are going to be uptaken by the plants.
All right, thank you so much, Ernest. Thank you so much for that. So the next person is Bridget Nkondo. Please go ahead and unmute them, ask the question.
Thank you so much. My question is for Ernest, and it's also about tillage. So I wanted to find out then how can because we have read about how minimum tillage or no tillage at all is advised. So I wanted to find out, like, how can then farmers prepare the soil for planting, especially maybe for large scale production where there's weeds involved, because usually tractors are used for also not to remove weeds as well. So then what is an advice to farmers to use to prepare their soils and also to remove weeds for planting?
A very good question. So because you can't, there's no such thing as no tillage, I would say, right? So but minimum tillage is what I actually emphasize on more. So whether you are doing small scale or large scale, let's say you're doing large scale, so there's some machines, because what I understand by large scale, that means you might be using some tractors, you might be using some machinery to do your activities. So there are some machines actually that you know, the way they do, you know, the smallholder farmers, the way they do on the lining. See, you know, they just put a point, like, how do I put it? You see, for example, when you take an example of maize, and then you see a farm that is very, very, very narrowly tilled. So, and then you see they're just doing like one who, just one who, and then you spaces, right? So there's a machine, in case you are doing right scale, there's a machine that actually do exactly that. They mimic what you can do with those small tools, relatoire. I don't know the name in English. There's some tools they use to actually dig very, very narrowly your farm, so that you don't have to dig deep. So whether for smallholder farmers or small scale or bigger scale, there are some tools that are actually available to help you not dig deep your soil. I know for smallholder farmers, I know the name, you know, in French, yeah, there's what they call ratoire. You know, there's some few kits that they use to actually narrowly dig the soil. But also for large scale farms, there's some machinery that do minimum tillage without harming the soil structure. There's some machinery, like whether it's small or big scale, there's always going to be a way. Otherwise, you can't say no tillage at all. It's not possible.
All right, thank you so much, Ernest. Thank you so much. So before we go to the next person, let me quickly read some questions out, and then I will allow the next person to unmute and speak. So this is to Afees. This person is asking, what could be the best cattle breed for milk? And the other question is saying, what strategies do you recommend to address COP2 GHGs? And the last one for Afees as well is, how can pig slough be valuable for making electricity in relation to climate change? Afees, I have 3 questions. I've read 3 questions for you. Are you on the call?
Yes, I'm on the call. Thank you. So now I will start with the first one. What breed of cattle are good for milk production? So I don't know which country you are from, but I would say the one that is generally acceptable. So I know that Austin Frisian is actually very good.
Afees, the person actually said he's from Uganda.
Uganda. Okay, good. Yes. So Austin Frisian is very good for milk production. Jesse is very good for milk production. Grilando is very good. Brown Swiss is very good as well. So now we have different varieties of all these breeds. All of them are actually very good for milk production. So what you now need to know, to understand, is that, okay, fine, Uganda, I've not been to Uganda before. I'm not sure if Uganda is as hot as some part of Nigeria or not. So if Uganda is as hot as some part of Nigeria that can be as hot as 38 to 41 degrees, then you might want to go for Girolando. So Girolando, you can crossbreed Girolando with your local breed there, and they will give you a very good milk breed that can do well under extreme heat, and they can still produce for you. So that's, I know for sure. And also, how can we reduce our scope 2 emissions? So now, reducing scope 2 emission requires a whole lot of dedication and how do I put this? Intentional effort. So for example, now you need to be intentional about the kind of product you use on your farm. So if you know that, okay, you are from Nigeria and you know that the way we generate our electricity is not sustainable, you might want to opt for a more sustainable energy from probably getting windmill or invest in solar energy. So something like that is actually very, very sustainable. So if you are using a generator machine to generate electricity that's in which you have to put in petrol or diesel, then that is not sustainable. So you just have to look for a way to invest in the sustainable energy generating activities. So that is what I know about that. And for how to generate electricity using pig slurry. So now that would require a whole lot of effort, because first of all, you have to have a biogas facility first. So you will convert the slurry into gas. After converting the slurry into gas, then you now need another set of machine to convert the gas into electricity. So now this might be very, very expensive for an individual to own or to develop. Then this is where probably cooperative will have to come in. So if you have a cooperative farmers, you are group probably 20 or more than that, you can actually pool resources together and seek for engineers' help that they can help you to probably import this machinery or develop it locally if they can. Then with that, you can generate your gas from biogas, then channel the biogas into the machine to generate electricity for you. So that is how that can be done. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Afees. While I look for other questions in the comment section, Alabi Wali Lai, please unmute and ask your question.
Good evening. My
Yes,
question
good evening.
is that how can we mitigate the effect of fossil fuels in industrial sector? And how can the residential, the people that are living in around in the surrounding where there is emission, how can they save from the effect of fossil fuel? So my second question is that drone technology, how can a small farmer get access to it? So thanks.
I'll be who you are addressing this question to, but I think for technology and all that, Femi, if you're on the call, do you want to go ahead?
Yes, I'm still on the call, but I didn't get the question well.
Alabi, you may want to repeat the question.
My question is that concerning the issue of drone technology, how can we get access to it? Because you know that the issue of technology nowadays is capital intensive. So how can we get in touch with the speaker so that we can have physical meeting, so that we can have a short training on how to operate the drones? So that's my question.
Okay, thank you so much, sir. So you can always get a hold of me through African Chain Maker, Food Chain Maker. So, and as regards having access to the technology, if you're based in Nigeria, which I perceive, you can reach out to us at Integrated Area Acquisition, and we can actually take this conversation further as to where you are, what are you doing, what do you need, what service do you need particularly, or perhaps you're actually interested in really outright purchase of the technology or the field, or perhaps you'd like services, right? So yeah, these are some of the things, but we would need to actually engage you to actually understand your context, particularly, and then we can be able to recommend and take action. Yeah, but we are always happy to support farmers, with this technology. Thank you so much for your comment.
And then maybe thank you, Femi. So I think most of these questions require to have the context, like Femi just said. But generally speaking, and again I say generally because for you to have the specific context, you have to sit with somebody and know exactly what you want. But generally speaking, when you talk about fossil fuels, the alternative is clean technology or clean energy. And when we talk about clean energy, we're talking about things like solar energy, we're talking about hydroelectricity, we're talking about wind power. So you see, for you to know exactly what you want, it depends. So if you're talking about agriculture, it might be actually biogas. So it really depends on the context, but there's always alternatives to the fossil fuel energy, and adaptations or the adoption of those technologies always depend on the context. But those are the alternatives that are known to have been used in different places, and they are actually, showing results. People are adopting those, and which one to go to depends on where you are and what you're doing.
All right, thank you so much. Thank you. Salako Kayode, please unmute and ask a question. Salako Kayode, I'm asking you to unmute.
Good afternoon, everybody.
Okay, good afternoon. I can hear you.
Hello. Okay, good afternoon, everybody. Thanks for this opportunity. My question is to Mr. Afees. Thanks for your presentation. Actually, I came late, so some of the questions might have been answered earlier, but I had a full session of yours, Mr. Afees. So I'm throwing the question to you, sir. Number one, I have a farm, vegetable farms, where I use as one of my source of incomes, but not a full, I'm not in it in full capacity like that. But I practice one thing. I use manure tea I apply it to my vegetables. Actually, they are performing very well. But I want to know if there is any harm in that. Maybe there may be any deposition of some, maybe something that may be harmful for consumption. Because in my university days, I had there are some depositions when plant consume some what, not from manure, but some waters like the waters from washing machine or from bathing, the water from that area, that there is possibly that some ions or some chemicals can be absorbed by the root of the vegetable. So I'm thinking, hope is not applicable in what I'm practicing here, that I will know what correction to do. Hello, sir.
Yeah, I can hear you. So now you said you use manure for your vegetable, right?
I use manure tea. I add water to the manure to dissolve it. Then I use it to irrigate my vegetables.
So what kind of manure is it?
Poultry manure. Dry
okay,
one.
is it fresh or dried?
No, not fresh. Dried ones.
Okay, so now this is the thing. So the whole process might not be sustainable enough, because if a fresh poultry manure is still fresh, it contains all the elements inside of it. So now in the process of drying it, you are releasing all those gases into the atmosphere gradually, including moisture and above. So that is why it is not sustainable, at least for climate's sake. It is not. So that's why it is advisable, to have some kind of biogas facility that you can use it to feed the biogas. So when everything is gone, then you can now harvest the substrate and use as your fertilizer. But using dried poultry manure as fertilizer for your vegetable is not a bad idea. It is good. It is good for the crop. It is good for the people that are consuming it. Except if some heavy metal are part of it, which is highly unlikely. And if that will be part of it, then it will be something that has been included in it deliberately. But poultry manure in its pure form, dried one, as a fertilizer for vegetable is not a bad idea. It is good.
Okay, thank you, sir. I have other questions. This for the admin. I don't know if there is a group, maybe a WhatsApp group, which you people use to run this.
Okay, yes. All right, I understand that.
Included.
Okay, so please check your email, Salako. There, we sent the link to the WhatsApp group to your email. In fact, for all of the sessions that we have sent, all of the Zoom link that was sent to you, will always include the WhatsApp link.
I will check that, sir. I'll check that, ma'am.
If you didn't see it, please send us an email and we'll send it to you again. Thank you.
Okay.
So please,
last one.
Can
I have the last one, please?
Oh, good. All right. Please go ahead.
Okay, Mr. Afees, please, I need an assistant. Do you have materials for us, horticultural students like that?
You have not checked the portal. You have not gone through module 2. If you have,
Okay,
you
okay,
see
thanks,
that.
Thanks, man. Thanks, man. Don't worry. I will do that.
All right,
Thanks.
please, Tiffin, go ahead and mute and ask.
Evening.
Tiffin.
Good evening.
Okay, yes, we can hear you. Please go ahead.
My question not that much. It's not exactly a question, Sha, but I want to still ask more about the minimum tillage. You know, there are some various areas in which if you want to like till the ground, you need some heavy machines, heavy tractors, or which can help you till the ground. So in the case of that, that place of which the soil is very strong, what are you going to do? Because I think things like power tillers, you cannot use them. So what are you going to do exactly? Thank you. Hello.
Yeah. Yes. Yes, Pooh, I can hear you very well. So you see, the problem is not actually, you see, if you from like, where are you from? I can't hear you. You can't.
From Benin.
Huh?
Okay.
You are from
I'm
Benin?
from.
No, I can't hear you.
Okay,
Please,
he said Benue. I think that's Nigeria, Ernest. I think that's Nigeria.
Okay, okay. So the reason why we keep saying this, for the last, I don't know how many years, you know, people still till the same soil over and over every season, now and now. See, you can't just, if you have a field with all type of shrubs and grass and things, you definitely have to till it for the first time, right? But the thing is, you know what our farmers do now? Every day, every season, you're tearing. What's that? What's the point? So, and that comes from our traditions, actually. It's because we don't know that it doesn't change anything at all. But the point I'm making here is you have to have a way. You have to have a space. You have to find a space to put your seeds in. You can't just put the seeds in the shrubs. You can't put the seeds in the glass. But there's no point to think that the more you dig in with your hoe, the more your corn, the more your banana, the more your seeds, whatever that is going to access the nutrients. Because there's no correlation. There's no direct correlation between how deep you dig and how easy your seeds are going to access the nutrients. But there's sufficient evidence, scientific evidence of the correlation between the soil texture and the type of crops and the soil stability with the nutrients accessibility.
All right, thank you so much, Ernest. So I have one last hand. The hand dropped. One Ivan, but I can't see him anymore, and I'm seeing another hand. So maybe I should just call this person. One Gangi, please go ahead and ask. That will be the last.
This goes to post-harvest challenges. Hello?
Hello, please go ahead. We didn't hear you. Please, you may have to repeat that.
Yeah, my question is about post-harvest challenges, because we do the other thing concerning the soil conservation, but when it comes to post-harvest, our farmers in Africa has a challenge. What are some measures we can do to help our farmers? Thank you.
Okay, this question, Ernest, I'm sure this is for you as well.
No, patient, that was not necessarily fun because I don't have did I have anything about post harvest in my modules? I can't remember. But the reason why
Okay, please go ahead.
The reason why I spoke first is because at Agri Research, you know, if you read my profile, you know, there's one of the organization I co-founded in Rwanda. And like you rightly said, one of the biggest challenge in terms of smallholder farmers doing some fruits, some vegetables, is to actually have a ways to store their produce before they bring them to the market. So because they don't necessarily have sufficient means to have the cooler or the big cooling machines or the complex storing equipments that are needed. So, but there is always a way out. There's some adaptation that people can do, farmers at the different levels. And one of the things, and again, that's one example among many other things, I'm sure you have heard about the zero cooling technologies. Have you ever heard about that?
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you know that, that's one of the things. So, and it can actually, it's a thing that use the evapotranspiration process and mechanism to conduct heats exchange, heats and cold exchanges between the crops or whatever you're storing in there, and you need just either sands or charcoal and very small structure with the trees and stuff. You don't need much. So those are the type of the things that we're recommending. In fact, recently we've getting some contracts from some organizations that are actually asking us to build some of those in different localities so that farmer can see those and start imitating. So you can search that. If you have interest, if you've never seen that, you can get in touch. I can bring you up to the agri-research technicians. I think zero cooling chambers is a way to go. It's one of the ways, not the only way when it comes to smaller farmings.
Okay.
All right, thank you so much, Ernest. Thank you so much. I'm sorry, this is the last we can take for today. Muni reading, you may have to write that question and send it to us. I really cannot take that question now. So sorry. So for the person that just asked about post-harvest laws and all of that. So module 3 actually talked about processing and packaging. We have a whole lot that has to do with post-harvest, to do with value addition, to do with packaging and all of those things. So I'm sure when you look at module 3 and then during the LIS for module 3, you have or get a lot of insight as per this subject for that module. So thank you very much, Ernest. Thank you so much, Afees. Thank you, Femi. I really do appreciate every one of you. Thank you so much for coming, for the sacrifice. We appreciate it. But before you go, before we allow you go, kindly help us on your video so that we all can take a snapshot with you. We want to see you in one of the places and then remind you that we had a live interactive session with you where you came to talk to us. I'm sure one of these days you go to one of the countries and one of the participants sees you in an event. Let them quickly remind you that they know you somewhere with this picture evidence. So please, for our facilitators, kindly on your video as well and join us on this photo. I'm sure my colleagues are already taking. Our facilitator, they did not on their video. Afees, your video is not on. Yeah. Oh, okay.
Oh.
So, I can see only Ernest.
Yes, Mwangangi from Kenya. I'm getting you. I'm Mwangangi from Kenya.
So please, all right, please let's on our videos and take the snapshots. Yes, I'm sure my colleagues are taking the shots and we will share it in one of the next email that we'll share with you, we'll share the photos with you as well. So thank you so much, everyone. Thank you, Ernest. We really do appreciate this. Thank you for the sacrifice. And please, you all, let's appreciate our speakers in the comment section and tell them thank you for all of the sacrifices that they have made to come for the live interactive session to talk to us about these subjects. So thank you so much, Ernest, and do have a very great day. Thank you, Femi, as well. Do have a great day, and Afees, thank you so much. Thank you, bye, thank you.
Okay,
So
bye-bye.
yes, for questions on the portal, so somebody asked earlier about that they are not able to download the additional resource from the portal. So we noticed that a lot of participants are having difficulty with accessing the additional resources in the portal. So we decided to download all the resources and drop them in the WhatsApp group. The reason why we are not able to send them to your email is because they are heavy. They are not like just documents, Word document that we can easily just send. So some of them are videos, some of them are PDF documents, some of them are also even article links and all that. So we cannot send all to your email. That's why we decided to drop them in the WhatsApp group so that you can leave them from the WhatsApp group. So please, if you are not in the WhatsApp group yet, check the email that we have sent to you. You will see the link to the WhatsApp group. Click on it and join the WhatsApp. If you still did not see it, please send us an email to braze@afc.org, and then would send the link to you. So some people are asking questions, are raising their hands. Oxford, Agboli, please go ahead and quickly ask a question. I have 2 hands raised.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, thank you
Oxford.
so much. Yeah, please, can you share the presentation with us through the WhatsApp or through our email?
Yes, that's what I just said. We have this presentation is in the portal. It means you have not gone through module 2. If you have gone through module 2, all of the presentations that have been that were used this in this session are actually in module 2. They are in module 2. Please, if you look at module 2, take all the videos and all that, you will see the presentation from Afees in the portal. You will also see the presentation from Ernest in the portal. So they are all there, please. Talks baby, please go ahead. And I just want to say that please always use your rename yourself, use your rename for the live interactive session, because we are taking attendance, and it's from the attendance we also do know who the top scholar for the week is. If you don't use your rename, then we may not know if you attended the session or you did not attend the session. Thank you. Please go ahead, unmute and ask the question.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. My name is Toka Faith Ziganbai, so it's not Tokes baby. Although the Tokes is Toka Faith Ziganbai. Good evening.
Please go ahead.
Please, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Please go ahead.
Last week, although I told you that I was having issue with assessing the learning models. So now I'll be able to assess the models, and I've started learning most of the classes online. So another issue I'm having is I think the Google Doc that was sent to my email, I cannot access it. So I've been sending several mails about it. And then I received a mail that I should register, and then there's a place that was indicated documents that I should input documents, and my business is not yet registered, and I don't have that document. So trying to submit it has been very difficult for me. So I don't know what to do.
Okay, so I actually remember this particular email that was sent. So I saw that and I actually responded to it that you should go ahead and ignore the place of imputing your document or your business document. Then you should just leave that part alone, sign the document, and if you cannot upload it back to that Google Docs, you can send it to us. Just sign that document and send it to the email. I've actually answered that. I should send it to the email. So someone else is asking a question here. So this person, I saw a question in the comment section that says, is it possible to take week 2 if you haven't done that? Yes, please. It's still it's open. You can take, that's why they are open. You can take them. It's a self-paced learning portal. Anytime you are available to take the modules, they are all there. They are still very open. You can start module 1 today, though it is not okay to start module 1 today because it will also help you with the following the live interactive session. But then you can take any of the modules anytime at all. So please, Adeoye, please go ahead and ask them Gangi. Those are the 2 people who are having, and that will be all. Please, Ojok Alan, please ask us in the WhatsApp group. I will open the WhatsApp group after now so that if you have any other question, please ask us there. We cannot take more than these two persons. So please, Adeoye, please go ahead. Okay, if Adeoye is not available, Mwagangi, please go ahead on mute and ask.
Okay, I've been unmuted. Good evening, organizer. The question I was about asking has been answered. That's a question that you just answered. Thank you very much.
Okay,
But I
thank
can
you.
go
All
ahead.
right, thank you. All right,
Yeah.
thank you so much. All right, Mwagangi, please go ahead and unmute. Okay, so Mwagangi is not there to ask, but please, we're going to open the WhatsApp group. If you have questions, you can as well just drop them when we open the WhatsApp group, and we'll try as much as possible as to answer your question. And if possible, please, you can reach out to any of the admins in the WhatsApp group, and we're always available to attend to any question that you have. Adeoye, please go ahead. I know that we have asked you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. I received a WhatsApp message. I think it should be from one of the coordinators that I was the best student for week 1, and that I should drop my pictures and all that. That there was going to be also. I asked that I should be tagged on Facebook, because they asked for my Facebook name, which I dropped. And I don't know. I didn't see anything. So I don't know how it's done. Is there a link there where I can go and look at it and maybe share it? Or I don't know. I'm just asking.
Yes, please, you can share it everywhere and anywhere. You came late, otherwise we actually announced and celebrated the top scholars in this session. Just when we started, we announced and celebrated. And I just remember here that I mentioned one ambassador, Adeoye. I just remember there is and we have also shared the link of the post in the WhatsApp group. Please check the WhatsApp group and you see it. You can please like, comment, and share. Reshare with your friends and your loved ones and all that. It is actually very open. You can also even share the session and tag AFC. Would comment and we share for you. Please, thank you. I'm sorry we cannot take these questions anymore. Please drop them in the WhatsApp group and then would attend to them, please. I'm so sorry we can't take it. Our time is really fast spent. We can't take more questions anymore. So please, we have the next live interactive session next week, Friday, the same time. And this time around, we're going to be doing module 3, which has to do with adaptation and mitigation strategy in processing and packaging. I'm sure some of you are already in module 3 and you know what module 3 entails. So next week, we're going to be doing justice to module 3. So thank you so much, everyone. And please, if you have not started, if you have not logged into the portal yet, please ensure to log into the portal and commence learning, because it's only when you finish the portal modules that you can download your certificates, right? And again, if you do not log into the portal, there is no way you will understand what's even going on with the live interactive session. So it's a two-way thing. There is the portal and then there is the live interactive session, please. So thank you so much. We're going to open the WhatsApp group for everyone. And if you have not joined the WhatsApp group yet, please send us an email and then we'll send you the link. But then check your email first. I'm sure that you already have the WhatsApp link in your email, because that's actually the way every other person that joined the WhatsApp group actually got to join the WhatsApp group. So thank you so much, everyone, and do have a good evening or good afternoon, depending on where you are. My name is Patience Brian. Bye.